In this lesson, we're going to talk about the chromatic scale. The chromatic scale is every single note on the keyboard. So we could say that every note is 1/2 step higher or lower than the one before it, or we could say that there are 12 notes in the scale. So let's take a look at what it would look like on a keyboard for C. You would have C, then you have the C sharp or D flat, then you have your D sharp or E flat, your E or your F flat, your F or your E sharp, your F sharp or G sharp, your G sharp or A flat, your A sharp or B flat, your B or C flat, and your C. So there is your C chromatic scale. A regular question that comes up is, when we do our scale, how do we handle all of those enharmonics? In other words, if we have a C sharp or D flat, which one are we going to use? The rule that we will use here is that you will keep a note name as long as you possibly can, and you will only change it when you get to the next white key or natural note name. That's in either direction. Let's do an example. This is our C chromatic scale. Our first note is a C. We're going to hang on to that C as long as we can, so the next note we will use is C sharp. Now we will change to D. We hang on to the D as long as we can, so we will have D sharp. Then we will have E, then F. We hang on to the F as long as we can, so we have F sharp. And now we change to G. We hang on to the G as long as we can, so we have G sharp, and we move to A. We move up then one more half step to A sharp, hanging on to that A. Then we have our B, and finally our C. So for our ascending or going up scale, we're going to be using the sharp enharmonics. Let's bring that scale back down. Remember, we change at the next natural note. So we start with a C. For our purposes, we will go to a B. We hang on to that B, and our next note we'll use B flat, and then we change it A. We hang on to the A, and we have A flat, and then we have G. We continue with G flat and F, E, hanging on to the E for an E flat, D, hanging on to the D for a D flat, and C. So our descending or going down chromatic scale will use the flat versions of the enharmonic notes. This works for any key, your chromatic scale.